G'day guys, welcome back. Got some beautiful weather and I've got a beautiful car for you. Today I've got the new Ford Endura ST line all-wheel drive to give you guys a bit of a run through. This thing looks sensational in its pearl white paint. So I'll take you through, give you a bit of a review. So let's get this thing fired up, take it for a spin, and let's see what it's like. First thing you'll notice when you fire this thing up is the digital dash display and the big LCD screen in the middle. Everything's laid out really nicely. It's familiar for Ford. This sort of look inside the cars has been running for a few years now, which I think's nicely laid out, easy to access everything. Everything's right there. Anything you need is in front of you. The climate control layout is easy to read. The buttons are a good size and able to be pressed with your finger quite nicely. Two simple volume and tune knobs. The steering wheel has all the dials, knobs that you need on there as well. It also controls your digital dash display in front of you. So sitting here in these seats that are sporty, it is the ST line, so you'll find that the seats have got that sporty feel to them, and you do sit in there nicely. And I think on a long trip, family and yourself are going to be very comfortable. Now, one thing you'll notice is that it hasn't got a gear selector as such like we're used to. It has got this little dial in the center of the console here, which I think is really cool. This piano finish black interior looks really nice too. It's going to be hard to keep clean, but it looks really neat. It has got an electric park brake as well, which is kind of cool. Easy to use. You'll hear that thing activate and unactivate. It does also let you know on the dash as well. Now the Ford ST line is the sporty addition to the Endura. It comes with the 20-inch alloy wheels. It comes with the nice sports seat, the black trim with the nice red stitching. It really sort of is a really nice sporty feel in here, and is definitely a step up from the Trend, which is the entry level of this particular car. Now the Endura is the mid-size SUV that sits inside Ford's range of cars. They have got the larger Everest, and they also do have the smaller SUV as well. But I think this size here sits perfect for your family, and it's going to compete really nicely. The CX-9, the Kia Sorento, it's just going to be a couple of cars that this thing's going to be sitting up against. Now, I say it sits up against them more so on the price, not so much on the size. I think the CX-9 is definitely going to have its margin on this in this particular car on size. So that's sort of something that you're going to be aware of. So the ST line in the Endura does come with the 20-inch wheels. It comes with the firmer suspension. It comes with the interior, all the blacked out interior in here. It's beautiful. It's got the red stitching. It's got the black roof lining. It really has a really good sporty feel in here, and it's quite nice to drive. It's comfortable. The seating position's really neat, so you're not going to sort of get too tired doing the long trips. I think you're going to be quite comfortable, and the rest of the family's going to be comfortable too. Now, there seems to be a really popular trend on SUVs at the moment in the market. So when you bring out a mid-size SUV, you're going to have to try to make it stand out against the rest, and Ford's done pretty well with that. It's definitely added a lot of features technically inside the car. You don't really miss out on too much at all, which I think is really important when you're going up against some other sort of competition. And at the price point this is too, it's not your cheapest mid-size SUV, and there's others that are going to give this thing a really good run for its money. However, I do really believe that the Endura has got looks on its side compared to some of the others that are sort of starting to date. The Endura brings a really good fresh new look to what is the mid-size SUV market. Now the ST line also has these little paddles. Yes, they're plastic and flimsy. Once you sort of select your sports mode on the gearbox there, you're going to be able to have a little bit of fun. The motor revs a little bit more, it's a bit more chirpy, and I'm sure you're going to have a little bit of fun driving around in a family car. Keep in mind, it's got the ST line, it's got the ST badging, it's got the red stitching, It's got the firmer suspension, it's got the bigger wheels, but it hasn't really delivered on the whole full sports feel. And inside here, it's actually quiet too. They've really made this cabin really quite nice and quiet. It's a pleasure to drive. There's not a lot of outside noise, there's no wind noise. You're really kind of sitting in a really comfortable position to be enjoying this car. It's a pleasure. So it has lane assist, which is a fantastic feature on these cars, and what that will do is just keep the car basically in the middle of the road. If you do merge against a line, it will give you a little prompt on the steering wheel, give you a little flutter, and that will sort of prompt you to sort of bring the car back into the middle of your lane. So, off the line, the little 4-cylinder diesel engine here performs quite well. Actually gets off the line really nicely. Hasn't got a lot of top end in it at all, but it feels really, really neat, and has definitely got enough poke for you and your family to combine that with your suspension setup that they've got in this, and those bigger wheels. The thing feels quite planted and quite grounded, and a bit of a fun thing to drive really with this gearbox. And the paddle shift as well is sensational. It's good fun. Now around town, this thing's going to give you around about the 8 litres per 100k in the diesel format, which I think is respectable for a medium family size car. It's considerable. It's not the lowest, but it certainly isn't the highest. Now this Endura, the fact that it was only a 5-seater and it didn't come out in a 7-seater variant like a lot of others in its class did. Now, I actually have a 7-seater Kluger at home, and I can tell you, in the whole time we've had that Kluger, I don't think we've ever had the back seats up. So now, if you're in the market for a 7-seater, then clearly this isn't going to be the car of choice for you. However, when you really think about how often you put those rear seats up and the space lost in having them up, you might consider actually whether this is actually a suitable car for you. Now inside here, your digital dash is impressive, and it's up there with the best of them. I think the Ford have done a great job there. Aesthetically, it's very easy to view. Your speed is there. It hasn't got heads up display on the windscreen, but I don't think that's really needed so much. It's got all your trip computer, your big touch screen here, which is very good. Has the latest sync, which is Ford's infotainment system on that. With all your navigation, Apple CarPlay, heated seats controllers, all your climate control, all your phone settings are all done through that infotainment system. Now, it's a very good system and it works very well, so you'll be happy with that. Now the Endura ST line is a comfortable family SUV wagon. It's going to fit the whole family in. It's got a big 800-litre boot, which is going to be more than enough for the family's equipment. Maybe even a trip weekend away with all the camping gear. Just on that too, it has got a 2,000 kilogram rating for the towing capacity. Now, I think that's quite considerable considering the size of the car. 2,000 kilos will be enough to carry your camper, a small boat around the place. So, and being an all-wheel drive SUV, you're going to be able to get yourself into those nice places that you need to go see. It hasn't got a massive amount of ground clearance, and the 20-inch alloys are probably going to be a little bit of a wary moment on off-road surfaces. However, you've got the option to do all that in a really good-looking SUV that's really, really well appointed. You're going to find it hard to come across a car that I think looks as good as this, is as well equipped as this, is as comfortable as this, as quiet as this, with the towing rating. So yeah, sure, there's others out there that are going to have the 7 seats, but as I keep saying, do you really need the 7 seats? And I think if that's the ball breaker, if that's the decision that you definitely need 7 seats, then yeah, of course you're going to be looking elsewhere for a new mid-size SUV. But I think if you're in the market for something that really is only going to accommodate you and the family, this really is a great choice. So this Endura ST line is very, very well appointed. It's going to have all the safety features that you'd like your partner or anyone in your family to be driving. It's got all your autonomous lane assist. It's got really good brake setup on it. It has got adaptive cruise control, which is really good too for the freeway work. It makes really light work of any long trips. And the handling of this thing is really good. The suspension with those 20-inch wheels feels great. They've done a really good job on the setup of this. For an SUV, it feels planted, it feels good. And enough responsiveness from that little 4-cylinder diesel motor. Plenty of power there for you. So the hand-cooked tyres they fitted to this Endura, they grip well. They actually grip really, really well. Works quite well with the suspension. They don't have a lot of road noise either, which is great. They're very quiet. So I think that was a really good choice. Now I will say, I think Ford have got this priced heavy for where it sits in the car market. However, where does it sit? Because the options on this are as high as what you would find in an X3. However, Ford really have never had the resale value of, say, a Toyota. So you're forking out a fair bit of money, and the question's going to lie whether you're going to get that money back when you go to sell it on. And also, the consumer's going to be there when you go to pass this on too. It's not really a car that a lot of people are going out looking for on the second-hand market. So you've got to keep these questions in mind when you're purchasing a new car. But it does drive fantastic. It corners really nice. Very, very nice. Gives the driver a good feel back without being overly exciting, but enough. Vision's very good too. You've got good vision out the back, all mirrors, all windows, giving you very good vision out of the car. So safety wise, that's a good thing. Also has a nice reverse sensors and camera, which is also another safety feature if you're going to be around kids. I think that is really essential. Alrighty guys, so that's a wrap on the Ford Endura. I think it's fantastic. I think if you guys have got a small family or starting a small family, this is a really, really good car, and it's a great option compared to what the current choice is in the CX-5 or the CX-9, which this is probably more so priced up against. This thing will make you question whether it's worth buying an X3. I'll leave you with that thought anyway. I know some people are actually probably not going to like that comment, and I know one person in particular. Anyway, that's my thought. Hope you liked the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.